The picture you see in front of you is a picture of California House of Representative member Dana Rohrabacher. Dana Rohrabacher represents the 48th congressional district in the U.S., located in California, and specifically located in Orange County, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with California, that is one of the larger concentrations of Ku Klux Klan land. Now, Mr. Rohrabacher has gone on record stating that he doesn't believe that the Russians actually hacked into the various places, including Podesta's email, the DNC, etc., etc. Now, he was on record saying that. Now, he is going to be interviewed by Andrea Mitchell, and basically, this guy is going to push back on everything thus far, including the FBI and CIA coming together and stating that the Russians hacked into our systems in order to effect the elections, specifically to hurt Hillary Clinton and to support Donald Trump. This guy is an asshole, okay? He always has been an asshole. He always will be an asshole. And he's one of those guys that if you drive through Orange County at night and he happens to be there, he might have a sheet over him in front of a lawn with a cross being burned into it.
Bacher joins me now. Thank you, Congressman. Thanks for being with us. Now that Bob Gates has come out and that there has been a statement by the FBI as well as the CIA, are you willing to accept that Russia tried? No one's saying that they succeeded, but tried to intervene and influence attitudes towards the outcome of the American election?
Well, first, let me note, when you were introducing me before the break, you said that I had some doubt that Russia did this. I have never expressed doubt that Russia had hacked into these emails and made them available to the American people.
That's a lie. And it's on video where he went along with Trump when Trump said that he didn't think that it was the Russians that had hacked into the various systems. And he supported Trump in that statement. So that's a lie.
I've never doubted that. What I have said is that I don't care who provided us those emails. The emails were factual, and thus the American people, it did not hurt the American people to have more factual information available to them. This is just a frantic effort to try to discredit an election because the American people rejected the liberal left effort. This is the massive campaign against Trump, and the media cannot accept that the people have rejected them.
See, and that's the number one thing that you'll hear every one of these Trump supporters state. We all know that Trump won the election based on what's going down today, which is the Electoral College is going to vote him in. There is no getting around that. There's no getting away from it, period. Now, it can be argued that the Electoral College is working against the will of the people, which Hillary Clinton received more than 2.5 million votes more than Donald Trump. But the entire purpose of the Electoral College was to be a safeguard against the people electing somebody who basically doesn't fit the bill, okay, unqualified, etc., etc. Now, you can argue whether Trump's unqualified or not. You know, some people yes, some people no. Yeah, I don't care about all that, okay? But the Electoral College is obviously going to do its job, and it's up to them actually to say who's going to be president. And if one person gets to 270 votes, that's it until they disband the Electoral College. So let's get away from that. This is not about the legitimacy of Donald Trump's win. This is 100%, and darn near everybody has said it. They want an investigation to see exactly what the deal was with Russia hacking in and having an effect on our elections. Plain and simple. It stops there. If they did, they did. If they didn't, they didn't. We just want to know if they did and what effect it actually had. They could turn around and say, in my mind, say, yeah, the Russians totally gave Donald Trump the election. Okay, if they gave it to him, they gave it to him. It's done. Okay, we're not going to have another election. So he's in. Okay, that's just like when they had the, after Reconstruction and Jackson came in, that they allowed the loser of the election, the presidential election, to become president in exchange for troops being pulled out of the South after Reconstruction. Okay? The loser became president. That the winner, I guess went home. I don't know how happy he was. He went home, but the greater good in his particular thinking was served because they pulled all the troops out of the South, and that's where you got the rise of the Klan, Jim Crow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they constantly, Republicans now, constantly, and the Trump people as well, are constantly trying to link the fact that the Russians hacked in and had information released, obviously only on one side. They're always linking that with the thought that we're trying to make Trump's election illegitimate. They're two separate things. But every time you hear one of these yahoos go in front of a camera, they can't say one thing without tying it to the other. And to be honest with you, I get kind of tired of it. But anyway, watch the contention that occurs during this particular interview with Rohrabacher, I'm sorry.
Congressman,
Looking for some excuse.
let me just fact check here, because we're talking about 17 intelligence agencies. We're talking about the FBI. So the issue is whether a foreign power, for the first time, tried to not only hack and succeeded, but also leaked to WikiLeaks. So it's not the issue of the output. The issue is the interference and whether or not that kind of hacking needs to be retaliated against, or should have been prevented. Whether the cause, and this is one of the things that I've posited, whether the cause, according to Bob Gates, was weakness on the part of this White House.
Well, let me just say again, if people are giving the American people more information, why are you so upset about it? The bottom line is no one has said this has at all affected the outcome of this election by the fact that the American people now know information that they didn't know before. Now, if it was untruthful, by the way, we know now that Teddy Kennedy went to Moscow in
Here we go, and they love doing this. They want to turn around and go back 10 or 20 years and pull something out of their asses in order to justify something that's going on today.
84, met with the head of the KGB and asked if we could arrange some kind of an event that would dislodge Reagan's support in the upcoming election. Now that was treason. Accepting WikiLeaks that they actually hacked out of our system involuntarily and saying, we want to know what information you have. Now that's just the American people getting more information.
So you're saying that stolen information from private emails is an appropriate thing to be leaked by a foreign power. Would you like it if Russia hacked into your emails and produced 10 years of your Gmail account and had all of us reading through whatever is in your emails? Should anyone have this stolen information put out for everyone in the world to see?
Well, for one thing, what we need to do is focus on email security. But when you're a public,
obviously he's not going to answer that particular question, because if he said he didn't care, then her next response should have been, okay, why don't you just make that available to everybody so that we can see for ourselves, 10 or 20 years worth? The answer is no, he wouldn't want anybody poking through his emails because he's got a lot of damn dirt in there.
Official, you know that you are the target of such hacking. That's number one. And when we're talking about this particular case, let's figure out now what is worse. Hillary destroyed emails that were under subpoena, and she destroyed. What's worse? That's
and does that
worse
justify what
than the
Russia
Russians
did
hacking in and giving us those emails? No, the destruction of the emails by.
Okay, again, he's mixing apples and oranges. And every time they talk about this, they always want to bring Hillary's emails into it. Okay, Hillary's emails basically had nothing to do with the Russians hacking in and stealing emails. Her emails were emails that were under her control, what she did with them. Okay, and granted, 33,000 she claimed that they were personal. If they were personal, she was allowed to do whatever she wanted to do with them. I'm not getting into that. What I am getting into is that the DNC and Podesta emails were absolutely stolen. And if you want to take it a step further, you had 4 Democrats running for positions in the House of Representatives that were hacked as well, okay? And their information was released, which gave the Republicans an unfair advantage in the races that they ran against them. So I wish that Andrea Mitchell had brought that particular facet up, because that specifically had an impact on U.S. elections.
Hillary was a far worse crime against the American people. She's trying to keep information from the American people, and if the Russians or whoever it was hacked into that system and gave the American people that information that Hillary had tried to destroy, more power to whoever.
Well, just to set the record straight, those 33,000 emails were under her purview because, according to State Department rules, every official has the right to decide what is private, what is personal.
So she destroyed them to keep information from the American people, right? She destroyed them so we wouldn't know. And so the fact is, now we're being upset by the people who actually gave the information to the American people. No, those emails were under subpoena.
No, that's not true. The emails that were under subpoena, okay, by the letter of the law, were the emails that had State Department significance. The 33,000 emails, which she destroyed, her claim was that they were personal emails and had no State Department significance. So now you can argue that one way or the other, okay, but that is the basic law.
And she destroyed them so that we wouldn't know the facts. And the Russians,
mixing Hillary Clinton's...
if they did hack to give us the information, the American people deserve to have that information.
Well, let's just say that you are mixing Hillary Clinton's private server, which I have long criticized, as which is a completely separate issue from the Russian hacking into the DNC and John Podesta.
It's exactly the same issue.
It is not the same issue. You're talking about the emails of a government official, a U.S. government official, and obviously mixing her private life with her government life. You can look at it any way you want. With a foreign intrusion, they are not the same. You're full of shit.
Exactly the same issue.
You've got
someone destroying evidence and running for office, and they don't expect that their emails then can be hacked into, and the American people are not going to get to know what she destroyed.
Let me just say,
that's the real issue here.
It has been reported that you are under consideration for a position in the new administration. You are comfortable with the Russians having done this to the U.S., having hacked, in fact, into the State Department. You're comfortable with Russian hacking against U.S. targets?
I'm comfortable with the fact that we have systems that are vulnerable to hacking, whether it's the Russians or anybody else. And when you have systems that are available to hacking, information will be provided that perhaps somebody wants to keep secret. In this case, the American people, because there was an election involved, should have had the right to know what's in those emails anyway.
Notice he didn't say yes or no. And no, the American people didn't have the rights to know what was in the emails from the DNC and John Podesta. That had nothing to do with the elections, okay? But obviously he believes they do. Now, what I'm waiting for, sooner or later, you know damn well that the Russians got into the RNC computers and they got their emails as well. When that stuff starts coming out after Trump is elected and they start dumping that stuff out there, basically it's going to create a huge uproar. But this guy's too stupid to realize that.
And just briefly to nail this down, are you still, do you believe, under consideration for some role in the administration? There's talk that you could be Deputy Secretary of State, you could be Ambassador to Moscow. Is there anything in your future other than being the congressman from California?
Actually,
That deputy to Moscow, deputy ambassador to Moscow job sounds like a winner for this guy.
we were talking about the second spot, the number 2 spot at state, but I frankly decided it's much better for me to be in Congress and a senior member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Science Committee to further those goals that President Trump has in mind, rather than trying to be part of the bureaucracy.
I don't know. If you got a choice between John Bolton, who is a neocon's neocon, and this guy to be the Deputy Secretary of State, I think the third option is let's just shoot ourselves and call it a day.
Thank you very much. Good to hear from you. Thank you, Congressman Rohrabacher. And
this guy is a complete and utter asshole.